This is Matt and
Jesse
from Dice to the Round Table, and we are going to do Tiny Epic Pirates. We backed this up on Kickstarter. We got it the other day. We've gotten a couple plays in, 2-player wise. So we're going to do a how to play and setup video. So thanks for watching that, and stay tuned to the end of the how to play and the setup. I'll link to our gameplay of it. So thanks for watching. This is going to be the walkthrough of how to set up for a Tiny Epic Pirates. This is going to be a 2-player game. My wife Jessie is on the other side of the camera. We have this focused here. So first, this is the player mat. So we have the Kickstarter version, and I got the neoprene mats. If you don't have that version, you're going to have cards that are going to represent what's on here, and you won't have crew cards for this part. So everything is in the game. It just might be a little bit different from what you see here, because I am playing with the neoprene version, and then we also have neoprene mat here. So first up, we have 4 players. You're going to have a ship. You're going to have a captain meeple. You will have 3 deckhands, and then a 4th deckhand. To set up the deckhands, the captain is going to be your activation on the rondel. Your deckhands are going to be moving around. To start the game, you're going to have the captain here ready, 1 deckhand in rigging, 1 in cannons, 1 in extort. You're going to have 3 of your treasure tokens placed here in your legend track, which is going to master how notorious of a pirate you are. Everyone starts as a sea dog, and you have this piece, which there's a bloodied side and a non-bloody side. That represents if you flipped your captain at some point in the game. If you get up to the 3rd step, you get an extra deckhand, and you get your bonuses. Next thing is you will have a marker. This is a gold doubloon coin, and you start with 1 gold. Every player is going to get a captain. On the captain card, it's either a 1, 2, and 3, or you start with the 4, 5, 6 version. This matters for combat, which we'll get to. So pick which one you want. Really, the only difference is the art, and this lets you, when you mutiny, if you choose to mutiny at some point, you have the ability to flip to the other side of your card. The last thing on here is recruit cards. So as you get recruits, you're going to add them here. The only other thing you need to set up the board here is in your color token, there's going to be these cardboard chits, which will be for your action rondel. Ideally, go ahead and flip them over. You're going to shuffle them up a little bit, and then you're going to put them and build your rondel. This is your customized action wheel, so it's unique to every player, and each one is associated with an action. So once you've built the rondel, we'll go over what the actions are. Your player board is set. Now we'll go set up the board itself. You should be able to see the board over here in the lower corner. I'll hold the cards up closer for reference, but this is going to be the main player board. In our playthrough, you'll be able to see us from here and see what we're doing on our unique player boards. So we have the neoprene mat, and you're going to get 4 map pieces that are going to be special. So on the map pieces, you want to find the ones that have anchor emblems, because those are coves. Right here, and right here. We suggest putting these off to the side, because these are where your ships can start. So when you build the board, I would take the rest of them, shuffle them up, and go ahead and place the corners first, because this is where merchant ships start and the navy ship starts. And then take the rest of the cards and shuffle them in, and finish filling out your board in whatever pattern will make you happy. Like so. So at this point we have our personal player board set and we're building our map. A couple things about the map. We'll talk about the icons in a minute after we get up the board set. Pick 2 corners that you want the ports for the merchant ships. We typically play this way, and then we're going to take a orange and the green merchant ship and put them on both sides. And then when you do this, there's a bag. This has cubes in it. These are your goods. The goods are, string. This gray one's gunpowder. The brown is coffee. The, what is that, cream?
Sugar?
Well, no, the color.
Oh, yes.
It's like a cream is
Yellow.
sugar. Yellow.
Yellow.
And purple is wine. So,
Rum.
oh yeah, it is rum.
It's rum.
You're right. I think of wine. You're going to take one good and put it in a ship, and one in the other ship. Okay, so we have our merchant ships set up in their ports. You want to point diagonal so you know which way the ships are moving in the game. Down here is our market card, and I'll show you what that looks like closer. Our market card tells you what value the good's going to trade at. It tells you what the base speed is for the orange and green merchant ship. And over here's the cheat sheet for the Navy ship. Based on how many treasures are on the board buried, how many spaces it's going to move. And what you're going to do is, you're going to take one of each cube, which I have here, mix it up, and you're going to place it to start your market. This tells you how much things are worth when you sell them. So I have that set up down here. The Navy ship is going to go either in this corner or this corner, determined by the first player, who is technically the youngest player. So where would you like to put that?
Sure. Oops.
The sails do pop off easily. Now these are some the explorations tokens. So here's a sample of them. So these give you different bonuses if you search in a space. You're going to have 4 extra. So the different ones you can get is immediately get a good, immediately get 3 money, immediately get a surefire token, explain later, 2 money. When you see a clock on it, it means use a later time at your choosing. This gives you 2 extra movement. This gives you get up there. I'm going to keep going while you're gone. This one lets you take one less storm effect, which we'll get into as we get into the how to play. We're just doing the setup. So go ahead and mix these up. Flip these over like so. And you can just mix them up. And you're going to put 1 in every space. And once these are explored, they are gone. You can't explore this, or you can't explore the same space more than once. So these extras will go to the side. Now, at this point, the youngest player is first player. They're going to decide where to go. And remember, they have to go where the anchor is. So they can go here. Where's another anchor? Here. We have one here. And where's the other cove? Cove. So I think I'll place my wife here. If she wants to move, she can. And I'll go over... where do I want to start. You know what? Let's just start down here. And the last thing to get set on the board is you each are going to randomly get one good to start with. And now the board is ready to go, and we'll get into how to play next. Thanks for making it this far. We're going to do the how to play portion now. To cover a couple things, we're going to go through some icons. So we were talking about different icons. So the swords are plunder. So what happens is on some of these cards, they're going to have different icons. This icon means you can plunder and you get one good. There are spaces that, and they tend to be storms, you get a plunder, 2 goods. And you're just going to draw out of the bag. Your ship can hold 1, 2, 3 goods. If you have 3 goods already, 2 goods, or 1 good, if you would get more goods than would fill up your ship, you have the choice of taking what you want. So, pull your goods out, look at what you have, and keep the 3 or the 3 that you want, and then put the other ones back into the bag. You can never have more than 3 goods. That's the plunder icon. Next is the explorer icon. This, you'll move your ship, and then you can take the token that's on the board. And those tokens give you a one-time bonus. Either money, a surefire token, which we'll talk about in combat, or extra movement, extra, or help you defer from the storms. The cannon lets you attack either the merchant ship, the red or green, or it will attack another pirate. We'll talk about combat in a minute. The hand with the goods in it, that means you're going to an island or a map piece that's going to have this icon. This means this place will buy rum. There's two places that buy rum. There's 2 that buy coffee, 2 buy sugar, and 2 buy gunpowder. And when you go to that map piece, you will trade only that color good, up to 3, and you'll get whatever the value is. Let me bring the market card over. So if the market card looked like this right now, and if you were selling rum, you would get 5 gold for every rum you sold, and that would go on your money track. You can never have more than 13 gold on this track. And you cannot spend more than you have. So you can't go negative. So after you get rid of the goods, on this market card, you're going to take the wine from the top to the bottom and shuffle everything up. If you are selling coffee, you just bring that to the bottom and the rum goes up, and the other 2 stay the same. You just bring whatever you sold to the bottom and push everything up. Now the recruit action. So on the neoprene mat, you have room for this. And you'll have a deck of cards with recruits. There's dice pips in the corner, which we'll go through with combat, and they all have special abilities at the bottom. You will notice that they all have icons that match the wheel. So these give you bonus actions. So these give your ships more actions, and they give you more combat when you fight. We'll talk about bonus actions in a minute. Bear with me. So on the recruit action, there's going to be 3 cards down here. That's going to be the options. You can pay 1 gold to discard all 3 cards and put 3 new cards down. And then pick the one you want. You don't have to pay for them, you just take them. Then you would take the crew card and it would go down here. This one, for example, when you explore, you get a gold. Where others might give you a one-time bonus, or something like this is unique. When you trade, instead of trading on a map piece, you can trade in rum and coffee, and you get 7 money for that, 7 gold. you're going to start here, and when it's your turn, you're going to decide what your action is. You can either go space by space, or you can use your deckhands to skip spaces. Let's say I don't want to plunder, but I really want to explore. I'm going to lose a deckhand. This deckhand gives me +1 speed. This one gives me +1 damage in combat. This one gives me +1 gold at the end of the turn when we end back up at the start, which is this anchor hideout. You can take a deckhand and cover up a space, and you can go to the next one. If you want, you can cover up all 3 spaces to go here, your 4th action. However, these deckhands cannot be reassigned until you get back here. This is important because there is an action called the storms when you move. So in here it tells you I'm a sea dog to start. It tells me I can move 1 space plus however many deckhands you have here. At the start of the game you have 1 in each space. You can change that later. And when you fight you roll 2 dice. The most you can ever roll is 3 dice when you get up to the swashbuckler. Your turn is pick your action, move your ship. You don't have to move it if you don't want to. You can, for my current setup, I get 1 for being a sea dog and 1 for the deckhand. I can move over 1, up 1. There is no diagonal. So you literally have to go up and over if you want to go diagonal. It's 2 actions. And then you execute your action. Now when you execute your action, if I was here, which is my explore action, every captain has, you can, when you explore, you're going to move, explore, bonus actions. And the captain has buried treasure. This is how you win the game. On pieces of the map, there's going to be this last icon, which is the treasure icon. It tells you how much gold you need to spend to bury treasure. What you're going to do is, if you have 13 gold and you explored on this map piece that's in my hand that was here, you would take yourself down to 0. You would take one of your treasure tokens, put it on this space, and you now lock this in. The game ends when someone's buried their 3rd treasure and they are the winner. However, everyone gets equal number of turns. So the game keeps going when someone activates and buries the last treasure, but that's the last turn. If only one player's got 3 treasure tokens, they're the automatic winner. Otherwise, there are tiebreakers in the rulebook. And then the captain also has the option to plunder. Now, depending on what your other options are, such as if you had this setup, you would explore, because that's your main action, plunder, or bury treasure, plunder, and then you can trigger your cruise bonus actions. So this would give me an extra gold. So after I bury the treasure, I could get another gold to start off with. Okay, so we've talked about this wheel, how to move around. Now, the important part is this red line, which is right before the hideout. When you've gone through the rondel, and remember, this rondel is going to be different. You shuffle up your pie pieces, and it's going to be different every game. It just so happens we have identicals over here. Because she has plunder, explore, trade, cannon, fight, and recruit, where I have plunder, explore, cannon, fight, market, recruit. So, just by coincidence. When you cross here, you have the option, when you have deckhands on here, let's say during your round you went here, and I really wanted it to get, I then go here, then my next turn, you don't have to pay to skip the anchor. This has several implications. If you go here, and if you remember the port icon, which is where you start, it has the anchor, which is right here. If you're on a space like that, you hide. And what happens is, as soon as you go here, or past here, you're able to, one, let's say you stopped here first, you will be able to reassign your deckhands. So let's say you want lots of movement. You could put all 3 here. You could do 1, 1, 1. You could do 2 damage and 1 extort. But after you line up these deckhands, you pull them off the wheel. You then do the next thing. You check to see how many people you have in extort. However many you have there, you get that many gold. So if you put all 3 here, then you get 3 gold as soon as you hit here. Now, if you're here and you're on a map piece with the anchor, that's important because what's about to happen? The orange merchant's going to move 1, so either this way or this way, towards this port. It's got to make its way to this port. And the other player whose turn did not trigger this next is going to activate these ships. So you would move these ships, let's say, and the Navy ship is going to target the current player that triggered this phase. You're going to consult how many treasures are on the board. 0 treasures, this is going to move 2. Since I triggered it, it's going to go here. Because I'm hiding out, and I'm on a map piece with the anchor cove, this ship does nothing to me. If I was here where there is no anchor, and the Navy ship hurts me, my crew instantly goes into the repair phase. That's called jostled. It means your crew's in disarray, and they are trying to get the ship back in working order. The only thing this crew can do at this point, you can reassign these to your wheel. You can reassign from the repair. And if you get jostled, you cannot take from the wheel down to repair, which is really important for what I'm about to say with the storms. So that's the Navy ship. Moving on the map, you'll see a couple places where it says a storm on it. And it's a picture of a bad storm, and there's a storm icon. There are pieces for Explorer that cancel this. But when you move into a space with a storm, if you start in a space or stay in the space, it does not do anything. But when you move into a space with a storm, you must pick one of your deckhands to go into repair. You cannot move into a storm if all your deckhands are either already in repair or on your wheel. That means your choices of movement are very limited at that point. You kind of want to get back around the wheel so you can reassign everyone. Combat. I'm inserting this because I realized something was out of focus on the camera, so bear with me. This is the combat redone. Let's say my crew consists of the following, and I'm on the combat action. Because I'm here, I'm going to roll 2 dice, and I'm going to dictate my combat. So I got a 5 and a 3. Because of the way my captain is set, I have a 5 here, and I have a 5 here. So this gives me 2 damage. This 5 gives me 2 damage. The 3, I have a 3 here. So this gives me 2 plus 1 is 3. I have 1 deckhand and cannon, so every deckhand here gives you 1 damage. So that would be 4. If I had this, that would be 5. And this fellow gives me an extra damage. So that gives me 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. Whenever you have as much damage as your target, it's a tie. So if I was rolling against a merchant ship like this, that has 2 damage, I would defeat it for 5, so I would get the 2 gold. If it was a merchant ship like this, of 6, I would fail, because I don't beat it. And what happens is when you fail your combat action, you're going to get a surefire token, and a crew gets jostled and disarray. If I win, I'm going to blow up the merchant ship, I'm going to take the good off the ship and put it on my ship. And if it has the icon in the corner like this, I'm going to boost up my legend. And the legend lets you get 2 gold, extra deckhand, 4 gold, surefire token, 8 gold. And then it also increases your speed or your how many dice you roll for damage or attacking. You cannot attack the Navy ship. That's not attackable. Surefire tokens. Let's say I rolled this and I had a surefire token. I could instantly change the 3 to a 4 and I use up the token. Now this would give me 1, 2 damage, and the 4 gives me 1, 2, 3. So this would be 2 plus 3 is 5, 6 for this fellow, and 7 for this. So getting some surefire tokens are really beneficial. Now if you're attacking another pirate ship, the winner, whoever does more damage, goes up on the legend track and gets whatever their bonus is. So if I went up here, I would get 2 gold. And I'll be able to move 2 as my base speed. The loser, 1 crew is jostled, your pick. Remember, it has to be from the deck assignments. And you get a surefire token. You can only have 3 of those. Or, if it's a tie, which means we did the same amount of damage, we each get a surefire token. And that's combat. Option 2 is the merchant ships. There's a merchant deck. 8s are on the bottom, 6s are next, 4s are next, and there's 1, 2. Each merchant ship, you're going to track where they are on damage. This is how much damage you need to do to destroy them, and that's your bonus. When you destroy a merchant ship, you get 2 gold for this, and you get whatever is on their ship. It goes to your ship. And then you'll take the next deck, or the next card, and replace it over the previous one. And as you destroy ships, they'll get tougher. Like this one. When you see this says it needs 4 damage, you get 4 good, the gold on, or the good on the ship, and in a 1 or 2 player game, your legend would go up. In a 1 to 4 player game, on an 8 damage ship, your legend goes up. In a 1 to 3 player game, 6 damage, your legend goes up. And that's how the merchant ships influence and get tougher. Once the merchant ships become an 8 damage ship, they stay there. And they're always 8 damage at that point. Thanks for hanging in there through the video with me. That's how to set up the board and how the game plays. We're going to have another video with my wife and I playing through the game. So I'll insert that link here. Come check that out. Questions, drop them in the chat. Comments, please. I think I covered this. Like I said, we got this as a Kickstarter version. So I may have pieces that you don't see in the standard version. However, thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel so you're alerted to more content. And see you in the gameplay.